Muted. Okay, I was muted. That's why you guys couldn't hear me. Let's just listen to the feedback for a little bit and see if y'all can hear me now. Okay, there we go. Here we go. That was weird. Never happened before. All right. So we are live, Stadia live session going on right now. I was just playing some CyberPunk on Stadia. But you can see some of my gameplay from launch night right now. That's what you're looking at. I want to definitely talk about CyberPunk. Hey, we got Charles of Reddit House. We got Raven Anime. We got the Rev. Loud. He said loud and clear. Thank you so much, Rev. I appreciate that, good brother. Victor Del Maestro, Jamie Reed. What it do, y'all? What's going on, man? I was a little perturbed yesterday because I couldn't do any content. I had the furnace guy come, and there was some miscommunication between me and the furnace man, and he didn't know what he was supposed to do. So that literally took up like all day. Like he came at 8 in the morning and literally didn't leave until 7 p.m. That, my friends, was not fun. But with that said, shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's do it like this. You know how we do. Charles says, I will say this about the mega deals. I had to pass them up, especially Borderlands 3. I didn't want to, but I got Doom and Jedi during the Black Friday sale and recently CyberPunk. Yeah, man. There's just a lot of stuff. I don't want to say the word too many because that makes it sound like that this is not what we want Stadia to do. We want them to do it. The games ain't going nowhere. If we can't pick it up the day of release, we can always pick them up later, right? And then being the fact that we're getting a lot of ports, we're not in the same boat as an Xbox or a PlayStation where it's like, oh, if I don't pick this thing up within the first week, then I'm going to forget about it. No, we're a little bit more patient than that. I say we're a perfect synergy of 3 major gaming groups. Gaming group number 1, of course, is the console gaming group. What we've extrapolated from the console gaming group is the plug and play that Stadia offers, right? You know what I'm saying? In the console, what do you call that? The business model. So the plug and play that's there with the consoles and the business model. We've extrapolated that with the AAA aspect of it too, because reasonably we can do a lot of AAA content as well. And with, you know, with games like the aforementioned CyberPunk 2077, which you see on our screen right now, we can do it just as good or better as The Verge. Ain't my words. The Verge said it. The Verge said, for most people, your best bet is going to be getting CyberPunk 2077 on Stadia. Let me see here. All right, so but you know, I think we're a synergy of 3 great communities or 3 great platform types. Again, platform type number 1 is the console community. Platform type number 2 is the Switch community because of the mobility and the ease of the mobility and the comfortability that we have. We're unique. Our tech presents something unique. And the last part is the what do you call it? The PC group. Because the thing with the PC group is that they don't need a game to be spanking brand new for them to enjoy it in the PC crowd. See, when people talk that jargon about, oh, the games is old, it doesn't fly. Let me see. Join us now. It doesn't hold much weight. You know why it doesn't hold much weight? because the PC crowd will buy any game at any given moment as long as it performs well and all that other stuff. And that's one thing that we have at our luxury is that over your general consoles in a lot of ways because of our technology, we just perform better. You know what I mean? And you can't beat that with a stick. So I think it's a great thing that we are a synergy of all those. Plus, we got our own thing going on too, which is, no loads. You know what I'm saying? No loads, no downloads, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the convenience is just uncanny. I mean, even when you look at other cloud platforms, because they are a derogative of the PC, you still get the loads. They're just the platforms themselves, and shout out to 6'4" for saying this. The platforms themselves aren't the epitome of cloud gaming. They're not. They have very staunch cloud gaming aspects, but they are not the total package of cloud gaming like how Stadia is. Stadia is one of a kind right now in many regards. Why do I say that? Because Stadia is not emulating dedicated devices in no way, shape, or form in regards to how it starts up the game, all that. It's not emulating those. Everything is in the cloud, so there are no downloads. There are no quote unquote updates. With all the other platforms, there is that stuff. There's remnant. It may not be all of it, but this platform may have this platform may have that. You know what I'm saying? The loads and all that. Stadia doesn't have that. So that's a great thing with this platform. All right. So I know y'all didn't come here to hear me bibble babble. Let me see here. I'm gonna send something to my bro King's Blood. Shout out to my bro King's Blood of Broadband Bullies and King's Blood. I'm messing with him right now. Come on through. See some my non-existent gameplay. Laugh out loud. Now y'all gotta excuse my bro King's Blood. He's a character like Cold Blood Sensei. Shout out to him. That's my bro. He's part of the PC Master Race. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Broadband Bullies. We had a crazy show last night. Watching. we were reviewing the Game Awards. So definitely, check that out. Go to Next Gen 720's channel and definitely check that out. We had a good time. Let me see here. Let me see if he's gonna type back. Oh golly, there's a lot, man. The Broadband Bullies, what's it called, is like constantly busy. Okay, all right. So enough with all that. Let's get back to you guys, because I ain't heard from y'all in a minute, man. Sean L in the house. He says, "Yo, 2K, what's going on?" Victor says, "I have Stadia, GFN, and Luna. Are those platforms you're talking about?" Yeah. Those, those are the platforms that I am talking about. Here's the thing, y'all. I don't think that we have enough appreciation. And I get why, because when it comes to how games are being marketed and being spread and the word of mouth works normally, if you're not the wiser, if you're not in the grassroots like how we are, then it looks like that Stadia is not making any growth. Because you don't, like, someone was messing with me last night talking about, oh, I ain't seen nothing from Stadia in the Game Awards. Some Stadia's dead, silly stuff like that, right? And I get it, because we all have been mentally herded to think that it's this way or the highway. We are atypically not the type of people at mass that breaks from the mold. We just beat down whatever works to the ground, right? And when you don't see them with a presence on the Game Awards, or when you don't see them doing the flash and pizzazz of a Microsoft or a PlayStation or even a Nintendo, you think, okay, this platform, they don't know that you guys exist. They don't know that any given moment when you log into your friends list right now, I wake up just like 50, 60 people. Well, there's a little bit less right now. We're gonna talk about that too, because we gotta keep it jiggy. We gotta keep it real here. We're gonna talk about that. It's a little bit less. And I think I have a reason why. It's not a bad thing. It's just, we gotta keep it transparent. And they don't understand the grassroots marketing that Google does with all of their products. I talked about this the day before yesterday. Google doesn't do atypical marketing. They don't do the flash and pizzazz. What they do is they say, hey, look, here goes our product. For those that are interested in it, here's where you can go to learn more about it. We're on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? They don't baby and nurture their products. And I'm not saying that what they do is the right way. It's just the Google way. And I want to say, and I will say this, that despite the falsehood, which is Google Graveyard, it works for Google. It works. Like everything that they do from their work environment, everything is different at Google. And they've influenced the industry. I mean, so it works for them, That being said, I still don't think we have a good appreciation for Google's grassroots marketing. Zogic had said something. Was it Zogic or was it Victor? I think Victor said it, if I can find it. Something about going against some serious fanboys. I had peeped at Victor and now I lost it. I don't know how I lost it. Yeah, I'm sorry, Victor. It was a great comment. I wish I could find it. Here goes another one. But with the success of Stadia, 2077 launch, all that is changing. Yeah. Oh no, here it goes. Here it goes. It was right above it. I'm blind as a bat. Stadia went up against some serious fanboys. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They even came out and was mad. They're hot, Victor. They're mad. I just paid $500 for this box. How dare you, Stadia, the $0 console? How dare you play better or be comparable to the experience that I got for $500? How dare you? It's the power of the cloud. And nobody has done it at the level that Google has done it. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, if people were more inclined to not just follow the herd, I know you may feel safe in numbers a lot of times, but sometimes if the herd is misguided, they'll take you right off the cliff. If people were more inclined to do their own research and look at things themselves and not armchair quarterback, they would understand why Google Stadia works as well as it does. And why, when it comes to games like CyberPunk 2077, why it can buck with $500 consoles. Something that costs as much as $100 for the bundle can buck with a $500 console. In a lot of ways, it's in various popular games, it's outperforming. I still don't have a Division 2 60 frames per second mode yet. They just got Destiny 2 plus 30 frames per second. They just got Borderlands plus 30. This is stuff that we've been enjoying since what? March, December 2019, March 2020. And because Google isn't flashy with their advertisement, they think we don't exist. They don't realize that just off of my friends list alone, I can wake up and find 600 people. I mean, Jesus Christ, no, not that much, but 60 people online. I've never had those many people on Xbox or PlayStation. Not to say that there's more people than, no, hell no, absolutely not. I'm just saying it's a vibrant community and it's growing by the day. Sonny, somebody like Sonny or people at Stadia Cast or even Brian, they'll see 100, 200, 300 people and their list is growing. So I just, I think that with all the second guessing that we do, me included, I think what the biggest lesson to learn from all this is that you can appreciate the grassroots marketing that people like the homie 6'4" was real big messaging, great content creator. Definitely check him out. He's been big on talking about that. And one of his supporters, Raindrop, shout out to her. I haven't seen Raindrop in a while, but shout out to her. She was real big in trying to promote why that's a big thing. But that grassroots marketing has been very on point, spot on. And then what it's done is it caused publications to do an about face. And I like what they're doing. And I want to say a kudos to all of you because they're doing it because of you. That's why I like what the homie Zach Laidlaw said. It was the hip hop quotable or the Stadia Dosage quotable of 2020. Now, I'm not saying that he said it on Stadia Dosage, but he said it, and Stadia Dosage can do nothing but pay homage to it. He says, if you want to defend Stadia, if that's what you want to do, defend it. Defend it all you want. Can nobody on Twitter tell you what to do? Now, we can give suggestions. There are times I see some of us may get a little bit overzealous, and I'm like, well, but y'all are grown, just like I am. I am not your school teacher. I'm just someone that decided to get behind the mic and decided to try to share my opinion and try to broadcast yours. I'm no better than you. Not at all. But what I can tell you from being in DMs with some of your favorite podcasters, some of your most notable podcasters that's been doing this for years, for the last 7 years, from having that ilk around me. Here's what I can tell you. What I can tell you is that it's been effective. I've had people come to me, pull me to the side, online and say, you know what? Dang, I didn't know the Stadia goons was out there like that. Man, I didn't know. Oh man, Stadia, the Stadia community ain't playing. They make sure that we educated on their product. Y'all remind me of the Nintendo mug. That's why I used the whole Nintendo thing a couple of podcasts ago. Like, we want to be like you ain't sitting there talking about the Nintendo product and hacking it up and getting it all wrong like a lot of these publications do. You don't do that without the Nintendo pillars coming out and correcting you. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Again, some of those conversations that have to be had make people feel uncomfortable, and that's fine. Everything isn't for everybody. But for those that get in the trenches, what you've been doing works, because here's what happened. By you doing that, it has forced publications like The Verge, like Kotaku, and these other places that now when they write these articles, even when they do want to be a little dismissive, they're doing it based upon facts. Paul Tassi, Some of these articles got a little snide and a little snark in them, but I can't be mad at them because they're all based upon fact. And that's all we ask for. And that's because of your influence. I know firsthand, trust me, that what you guys and gals have been doing works, contrary to what some may believe, that it'll work in reverse. The evidence doesn't show that. And sometimes our emotions get ahead of us again because confrontation, conflict can make people feel what? Uncomfortable. But sometimes you just got to have the tough conversations to get to the bottom of things and make sure things are exhibited correctly. I don't want to get tagged for this, so let me move this off. I don't want nobody to see no nip. No nip into place. We're going to get past the nip. All right. We got a lot of nip here. Okay. Now we can put that back. Okay. And that's what we've done. We've had the tough conversations because they needed to be had. And again, I tell you, they have been effective. I'm with you, Victor. I don't mind it sometimes. Sometimes you're just like, I don't need that stuff. I don't need it. It's funny that you say that, Victor. I want to share something with you guys without going too far off topic. You know, I'm a big hip hop enthusiast. I love old school hip hop, 80s, 90s primarily. When I was growing up, there was this group called Dosage. I'm telling my age now. They were more like a bebop style, iggity biggity, dumb stickity dumb, type of rappers. And a lot of the youth right now that ain't down with that don't understand what we used to call it Jeep Boy rap, where Jeep Boy rap was just, all about your vernacular. You rap it on time. You know what I'm saying? But you just covering a whole bunch of situations. Like you could be talking about cakes and pies and cookies. And the origins of Jeep Boy rap was something. You hear something called freestyling, the cipher. You heard that. The purpose of Jeep Boy rap is people became Jeep Boy rappers, meaning that they would just rap about anything. They weren't just trying to get on the mic and be tough. They maybe had a tough aura to them, but the lyrics weren't necessarily tough, because that by them blending their pure rap style and their freestyle style together, that made them better freestyle. So if someone said, hey, somebody's challenged you to, 16 bars, spit. They could do it because they're used to doing that even when they're writing stuff. So Jeep's, just a little hip hop history there. But there's a group called Dosage that their first album, they blurred out a lot of their curse words. And then their second album, they completely omitted them. And I remember we was talking about that because my friend was like, yeah, the only rap that I could listen to, my mom would only let me listen to Dosage's second album. And I said, why? She said, because there was like hardly no cussing and I couldn't listen to nothing else. And I said, yeah. And I appreciate it. I remember we was talking about growing up appreciating that because they didn't feel like that they had to be vulgar. They had to get like all out of pocket in order to be noticed and to be considered hardcore. They didn't have to do that. And Dosage was considered one of the most rugged of that era. So I went all around the world to say that, just to say this. I'm completely with you, Victor. Sometimes the adult stuff is too much. You know what I mean? And you don't need it. But it's in this game and I can dig it. But yeah, you don't necessarily need it to make a move. You know what I mean? But I'm not downing them for, but I'm just saying how it's funny that you brought that up because I just was having a conversation with a good friend of mine about, you know what I'm saying, obscenities and stuff like that and content, and it was explaining to them why, because they listened to my stuff and he was like, man, you're a crazy dude, man. I see that you temper yourself when you're, because I know that kids are watching. So I try my best. Like my best friend and their kid, they watch my content all the time. So they're always in the back of my mind. So I try to keep it at a reasonable level, but I can completely understand where you're coming from, Victor. I definitely appreciate it. I played Cyberpunk 2077 as a street kid, right? Yeah, I did too. I did too. Yep. But yeah. So I just wanted to say that we hopefully we appreciate the grassroots movement that Cyberpunk did, and you guys understand how important it was. Not Cyberpunk, but Stadia did, but how important it was for us to just let it play out, because this is what we got. All right, let's get back to the chat. We got the homie Chris. He says, "Hey, MM1K, hey yo, I appreciate it, man. Hey, look, super chats are up right now. I know a lot of people's asking me, look, MM2K, I want to sub. I'm not into the super chat thing, but I'll drop X amount a month, which we're going to work that out. I don't want to put a membership out there just because. I appreciate y'all that were willing to do it just because, but I got to give something back in return. So as soon as we figure out what our content is going to be that you're going to get in addition, we'll put the memberships out. We ran into that problem with the Patreon where we had an idea, we couldn't produce, we still left it out there, and I think that was a stain on us. And now we got regular content out there. We dropped something yesterday, even though we couldn't do live content. We got something either coming today or tomorrow, and I just don't like doing that. So when I can give something in return, which will be shortly, we got some ideas, definitely we're going to do them there. And one of the things probably will involve this crowd play testing that I got. I got access to do some crowd play testing. Not sure when or where I'm going to do it, when I'm going to start, but we're going, we're going to go through some Borderlands. That's one of the main games that I play. I think I got Mortal Kombat 11. I'm going to let y'all mock me in that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff will be happening on the channel, and it probably will be part of the membership, thing for those that are interested. Definitely. Who else we got in the house? We got the homie Stadia Rev. He says, congrats on 1,000. Thank you, brother. Hey, look. 2021, and me and you've been rapping, Rev, and I don't want to say too much because Storm always tells me to shut my damn mouth. And wait till the appropriate time. This platform, this very here platform that you see right here, is going to be a springboard for the community in a lot of major ways. This wasn't about me getting to it. I know there was this little figment in the air. I don't want to address it too much, but there was this figment in the air that we was, worrying about codes and stuff like that and whatever. This was really about y'all. I really had a passion of creating a platform for the community, because if it wasn't for that same type of love being shown to me from Next Gen 720 and the broadband bullies, I wouldn't even be here. There would be no MM2K. So I've always wanted to duplicate that through this platform. It's just that we had to do it on the tail end instead of doing it on the front end because of the participation levels. It was hard for us to try to come up with a group in the front end that would be willing to support the platform. But now that everybody's kicked the tires and like, okay, well, Stadia is going to be around for a while. Now we getting calls out the wazoo. Yo, Moss, yo. And it's funny, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So we're going to put something together for the community. 2021 is going to be banging. We're going to do a lot of good things together, and we're going to talk about our love for the platform, definitely. But I thank y'all so much for all of the kind and wonderful things that you've had to say, all the support, the super chats, all that stuff. And then, like I said, we're not going to do the members. We're going to do this right. We're not going to do the memberships until we can give something to give back. And I know people told me that they didn't care, but I just can't get down like that. Stadia now says, I always ask the person who is attacking me if they played Stadia. I always get no. It's amazing how people can hate on some. Yeah, man, it's a sense of belonging, Stadia now. Like, what we got to understand is that we are the peculiar few. And we're really not as few as we used to be. We're a peculiar bunch, and that makes us special in a lot of ways. That's why I said this community is so great, and what makes it unique from all the other communities, even though I love them too, but there's just a special type of love for the Stadia community because we didn't have to be told, all right, now it's okay. Like everybody else, look, the same people, don't feel bad, Stadia now, the same people that believe that this thing was going to die, wasn't going to make it to the end. And you had this is the thing that bewilders me. See, I'm not mad at the Joe Blows that I see on Twitter. It's just we had to stomp them out because they were spreading misinformation, and we ain't want that to get to the unsuspecting gamer. So they were casualties of the war. You know what I'm saying? We had to stomp them out. But if you notice, MM2K pulled back. It was in the middle of the year when I told y'all we on some 2.0 type stuff. Yes, we were aggressive. Yes, we were in the faces of those that were spreading lies about the platform, whatever the agenda was. But once the platform's free tier came out and people were starting to scratch their head like, hold on. I know Young Ye has been saying this, but bro is kind of wrong. Like, Young Ye, what are you doing? And he's had to backtrack his words. Like, you don't see no more Stadia stuff from Bucko anymore. Then I told y'all, that was like in the middle of the year. I said, look, we got to get it like Stadia 2.0 mode as far as the community is concerned. I'm not down with making videos every day on Paul Tassi and Tom Warren. We've gotten past that. We've solidified who the people are that don't know anything about this platform despite the numbers next to their name. We've already solidified that. Now it's time to move on. Now it's time to move on. It's time to move on some more where we say, look, I'm not even mad at them. I'm not mad at them out there. Even some of the mainstream people, I'm not mad at them. Like, even when they give these goofy opinions, I'm not mad at them. Just let it be factual. Let it be based on fact. I'm not even sweating it. And that's the way we got to be. We got to walk more with a little bit more confident swagger in there. Even if somebody does talk stuff, I don't think cloud gaming is going to make it. Let them spout off. But as long as their opinion is rooted in fact, like when they say, okay, and I don't believe this because, let's just say, when I go into a 2K game, it takes twice as long or 3 times as long to find what's it called. So that's why I think Stadia, look, the opinion is they don't think Stadia is going to make it. They're basing that based off of when they go in the NBA 2K playground, it takes them 3 times as long. So that's why to them, Stadia is not going to make it. If that's the off-key, crazy type of thing that they want to roll with, let them roll with it. It's a reflection of them. It's when they lie, though. When they lie and they make up stuff and say, well, I don't believe Stadia is not going to make it because they only sold 1 unit in the last 6 months. That's a full-fledged lie. We got to get on that because, again, that's going to go to the unsuspecting. They only sold 1 unit. I'm interested in this thing, but if I buy it and it's not going to last, they only selling 1 unit, I'm going to waste my money. It's going to be a bust. Let me walk away from this thing. And here they've walked away from something that they're going to like. So again, it's time. It's time to. We got to evolve through this process. We got to go through the cocoon, and we got to ultimately turn into a butterfly in this process. I'm not mad at people with their off-color opinions. I'm not mad at them. The internet never goes away, and their words will be a reflection on them, not us, not Stadia. Will be a reflection on them. So let them have their goofy opinions. As long as they're not destroying the facts, as long as they're not trampling the facts in the process. Let's see who else we got. We got the homie Cold Blood Sensei. He says CyberPunk sucks on Stadia. PlayStation 5 is greater than Stadia than Xbox. I don't know about that, brother. I mean, I haven't seen it on PlayStation 5. And some of the Xbox picks, I don't know, man. I don't know. I would say where you might have some slight visual fidelity bonuses on either the PlayStation side or the Xbox side, I ain't got no loads. I have no loads. I have no loads, no installs, no downloads, no waiting. Bop, boop, 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 boop. Oh, I got to go downstairs. Boop, boop, boop. That right there, Cold Blood Sensei, being that they're all so close in visual fidelity, that's what makes the Stadia version of me leapfrog those other ones. $500 consoles. I can take it anywhere. I can play it on my phone. CyberPunk, you know that CyberPunk is like crack. I can play it on my phone. So that's what I'm saying, Cold Blood Sensei, is that I get what you're saying, my good friend. But when you take everything and put it in totality, I think that the added benefits that Stadia presents leapfrogs it over trying to play it on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. Now, when them next generation enhancements come, that's a different story. And hopefully Stadia will have theirs ready. Jacob F1 said, yo, FI. I said, I love you, man. Love you too, brother. Love you too, man. Thank you so much for your support. Raven Anime says, yep, no waiting. Cold Blood Sensei, 60 frames per second and actually no blurriness. On Stadia, it's bad. That resolution keeps on changing in seconds, and Xbox is by default the worst. Okay, I mean, if you say so, Cold Blood, we'll see. We will see. We will have to see. I got to get a hold of the PlayStation 5 version. But shouts out to them. But you had to pay $500 for that. And again, you can't take it with you nowhere. People want to play CyberPunk everywhere. I can take it with me. So we'll see. We'll see. We got to see how much of a leap it is between the PlayStation 5 and the Stadia version. Rome says, what's up, G? Stadia hands down. Best way to play Cyberpunk 2077. Stadia killed this. Instant play. No hiccups. No other platforms can say that. Yay. Charles Araya says, I admit that last night I commented on someone's video about related to Stadia's business model, but you realized after that I just need to let them rock with their opinion. Yo, classic example. I don't want to say too much because I don't want my bro to dog wash me. But my homie David Jaffe. Let me tell you about the homeboy David Jaffe. David Jaffe, the great David Jaffe, the legendary David Jaffe, the creator of God of War. My history with David Jaffe is a very checkered past. I remember my first interactions with David Jaffe is when I was actually going after Mike Ybarra. I got to be honest. I was going after Mike Ybarra because I was upset that Microsoft was trying to play this kumbaya thing with Mixer and God of War and giving away God of War. And I was like, y'all ain't even promoting your own thing. I was like, Mike, what's going on? And I love Mike Ybarra. If you ask me, and Mike knows this, he don't respond to me, but Mike knows I love him. And Mike Ybarra is the former, I can't remember what he did, but now he's now he's the VP over at Blizzard, Activision Blizzard. Mike Ybarra knows that I love him. He knows I love him to death. He knows that I wish I used to cry inside and wish that Mike Ybarra was in charge of Xbox instead of Phil Spencer. I think Phil Spencer should have had more of like a creative director role, and Mike Ybarra should have been in charge. Sometimes the most charming and the most thought-provoking person isn't the greatest leader. The greatest leader is the person that knows how to extrapolate all of the best qualities of the people that they have to work with in order to get something done and put it together in the best way possible. And because Xbox is always behind in a lot of things, things that they promise, things that they say they're going to do, world's most powerful console, Xcloud, the list just goes on and on and on and on. Phil has great ideas, but I think you need somebody a little bit more shrewd to get the stuff done and get it done right. So Mike knows I love him, but I just wasn't feeling him what he was doing that day. And in comes David Jaffe. David Jaffe came in there and was like, you piece of ish. He was giving it to your boy. To MM2K. Now, y'all know me. Y'all know I love when I get called names. That just puts me in a hyperdrive. So me and David just go back and forth. And then we just started, and then that just started this bond, this Twitter bond. He's probably thinking, I don't even know who this dude is. No. This Twitter bond where me and Mike would go back and forth. I mean, not Mike, me and David Jaffe would go back and forth. And I'm like, David, love sparring with you because he's a very funny guy. Very funny and bright guy, too. I love David Jaffe. He's a great guy. And then David came on one of our shows. We did Broadband Bullies Best Damn Podcast. We invited him on the show. He came on and he tore it up. And then him and Next Gen 720, my mentor, did shows together. It was a short series. I talked a little bit about that. I think I talked about that in the Patreon. But it was some great content. Great content, definitely. But David Jaffe's in cloud gaming right now. He's into it. He really likes Amazon Luna because he prefers their business model. He's one of those that prefers their business model. He don't think that a cloud gaming platform should have a business model similar to PlayStation or Xbox. But again, you got to understand, this is the creator of God of War. You got to understand that sometimes people get thrown into silos and they don't realize it. This is the creator of God of War. Everybody's trying to get on his good side. This guy gets games whoop to do. If he could just call somebody up and look, I want a key code for such a, not saying that's what he does, but he can. So he's not he's not sitting there like me and Charles and Rand and everybody else that's strapped for cash and like, yo, there's going to be games I can't buy today. Or there's going to be games I can't buy this month. And maybe ever. He's not in a situation like that. They're connected. They're in the industry. They're going to get them games one way or another, whether they pay for them or not. They're going to get them. All right? Now, with that being said, someone in a situation like that doesn't have the appreciation of why Stadia having the business model that they do is crucial to its success. I get the same business model that I'm used to. I get a whole bunch of options. I get the subscription service, which is Stadia Pro, or I can buy games a la carte. But you just got to let homies like David Jaffe just they got to experience it in their hands. Sometimes when they're thinking about stuff that they're not totally connected to, their thought of it is a little off. Now that he's playing CyberPunk 2077 on Stadia, but he can't play it on Amazon Luna, the hottest game in the town, maybe it'll start soaking in his head. Hey, look, there's a reason why this model's out here that's important, and I had to pay $500 to get access to this model. See, people don't take that into consideration. To get access to this model elsewhere, you got to pay it up front. You got to put it down a down deposit. You ain't got to put down no down deposit with Stadia. That's what makes it greatia. Shout out to the homie. We got them guns. Why not, gamer? He said, yo, what's good? Keep up the good work. We on Stadia. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, my guy. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the $5. We can't do this without you, man. Mule Splur says, but yeah, Stadia is that blue model. Look, and I love David Jaffe, and if he ever catches one of me saying this, you're going to call me a whole bunch of MFers and ish bombs and peasants. I love him. You just got to appreciate the humor of David. David is a great guy. He really is a great guy. But I don't agree with him. I think his opinion is off on this, and I think it's off because he's not in tune to the needs of the grassroots gamer because he's David Jaffe. And I'm not saying he gets everything. I'm not saying he's not willing to pay for his own stuff, but he's not strapped for this. Hey, David, what's going on? Yo, Blase Blah Ubisoft, man. I really would love to play some of that Assassin's Creed, man. Oh, you want David, I'll get you a key. I'll get you a key, David. right? Or David might just wake up and say, okay, I'll buy it. I don't even want to go through the hassle of calling. I don't need to. I don't need to use my name. I'll buy it. But if all else fails, Charles and Rand and I can't call up Ubisoft like, yo, so, yo, Yeeves. Come on, hey, Yeeves. Look, man, you know, it's Christmas, pandemic. I had to buy the kids a whole bunch of masks with rhinestones on them. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, I don't want to spend no more money. Yeeves, what's up? Can I get a copy of Watchdog Legions and Immortal Phoenix Rising? You know, don't worry, it's on the house. All right, thank you. Me and Charles can't make calls like that. David can. So that's why I think David is much, and again, don't take what David says to heart. That's why I said when people have these opinions, as long as they're rooted in fact, don't get upset. At the end of the day, it's just video games. One thing that, I mean, it does grind my gears when false information is being cascaded and precipitated. I don't like that because I've been a victim so many times of false information. I spent money that I just can't get back. That's why I'm so staunch and I fight so vigorously for correct information to be out there. We all make slip-ups. We all make mistakes. But for you to just not do your due diligence and spread falsehood because you know it sounds bad and you want it to pass through badly because you have an agenda, I feel a completely different way about that. But if somebody has an opinion that a business model is bad, that's their opinion. You got to, sometimes it takes us sympathizing with the person on the other end of that opinion for us to best understand how maybe we can help enlighten them. And as somebody that has interacted with David, that loves his personality is crazy. You know what I'm saying? The best way to appeal to someone like David is to say, look, Dave, you're enjoying Cyberpunk 2077, right? Oh, yeah, I'm enjoying it. Because you like cloud gaming, right? Yeah. And you can't play that on Amazon Luna, can you? No, I can't. Now, Dave, you probably bought that out of your own pocket. Yeah, I bought it. Imagine days that you can't buy that. What is David Jaffe doing? Oh, you know David Jaffe's getting a code, baby. Okay, I know you're getting a code. But imagine if you're MM2K or you're Charles Rand or if you're Squid or a lot of these people in the chat here. And you don't have that power. Would then a business model like Stadia without the down deposit, would that, can you see that, Dave, where that's lucrative to a lot of people? Because I can tell you that it is. So many people that I've run into, I've had to give away consoles to them. Yo, man, I wish I could game like you, man. But the kids had to buy them DSs and stuff like that. Those are real life situations that I've had to deal with. I don't deal with David Jaffe's circle. David Jaffe can probably call up Corey Balrog. I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? He can interact with those people. We don't have those type of people at our disposal. So when all else fails, we just don't get it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's why I said sometimes you got to play psychology and understand what is churning in the mind of the person on the other side and not just come at it aggressively. That's why I said we got to elevate. We went from 1.0 to 2.0. Now I think we're in like 3.0 phase where it's like, I can show you better than I can tell you. And I think David Jaffe is one of those people that you could show better than tell. And with him having it in his hands, seeing how lackluster it may be on hardware, just let him play through it. And then have a conversation with Dave. Because having someone like him that then says, you know what? At first, I just thought that the Luna thing was the ticket, but now I can see why. Y'all have convinced me through the cordial conversation. Y'all convinced me that maybe I was stuck in my own silo about this. So just some food for thought. But I love David. He's a great guy. He don't mean any harm by it. I can tell you that much. He don't mean any harm by it. It's just that he's stuck in his bubble as far as his restraints. And he's not looking at it from 5,000 feet. That's why he thinks the business model is so bad. Oh, yo, shout out to Lloyd. I was running my mouth so much. Lloyd Henderson in the house. Thank you, my good brother. And he gives up to $2 a Canadian coin. He says 1,000 subs hype. Thank you, Lloyd. I appreciate it, my good friend. And definitely check out Lloyd tomorrow on Cloudburst with a fantastic panel. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check it out on my homie Adam, Stadia Rocks channel, and definitely check him out on the newly rebranded channel, Nerds Nest. I love it. Nerds Nest, they do all things gaming, because that's why I have 50 repositories, right, Lloyd? Where you're, okay, it's 3:30, so now I got to go to this channel. No, it's 2:55, now I got to go to this channel. And it's 9:18. They've now wisely took everything, condensed it, put it in one channel where you can get all their great content. It's called Nerd Nest. The former Stadia Cast channel. Stadia Cast, the podcast still exists. Still Stadia content. It's just now you're getting more bang for your buck. Did I pronounce that right, Lord? You get more bang for your buck with the rebranded Nerd Nest channel. Definitely check them out. All right. Cold Blood Sensei says, Mike changed from one of the worst publishers to the actual. Leave Mike alone. I love Mike Ybarra. I love him. He's a gamer's executive. Now that's one thing I won't stand for. I sat up here and was greasing my homie David Jaffe's toes for the last 15, 20 minutes. But that's one person I will not take any slander towards is Mike Ybarra. I definitely will not take it. Now, thank you, Lloyd, for the great work that you do, my good friend. And he says, yes, Nerd Nest has been making everything so much easier. I know. That's why I kind of had to focus more on this channel opposed to doing my other channel. It's like, oh, no, it's 4:15. Oh, now I got to go here at 5:15. Who's on first? Who's on second? You kind of get burned out from that. So I completely understand. It was a great move, and it just made a great channel even greater. Shout out to the homie Stadia now with the $10 super sticker. Thank you so much, my friend. All right. Let's carry. Are we in that bathroom scene again? We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here because I don't want to get flagged. I don't want to get flagged. No nippies. I don't want to get flagged. Okay. So, and what you guys again are seeing is my Stadia gameplay of Cyberpunk 2077. On the Stadia platform, on the Chrome browser, as a matter of fact. All right, let's continue on. So that was the media reception of Cyberpunk 2077 from those that normally don't say positive stuff about Stadia. They're saying it now, and again, I think it's just a matter of we got to let them rock. If they get something factually wrong, let's just correct it, go about the business, because I am in the mind state that we got to inform the unsuspecting gamer. But I don't think there's no battle. I think we've done enough in the trenches to where it's solidified that, hey, just like with the Nintendo group, we got to be on top of our facts, and we're seeing that. There was a little bit of snark in the Verge article, but I think the Verge article factually was perfect. And I know some of you have come to me and said, well, MM2K, you praise this article or you praise these contents, but they weren't 100% glowing of Stadia. That's okay. That is okay. Because we don't want this to be like, we don't need no Manchurian candidates here for Stadia because it doesn't seem authentic. I just want to keep it, and then I'm going to say something too that's not going to be popular. So be here for that. I just got to be honest with y'all. It's not going to be too popular, but it's going to be honest. But hopefully it'll help flourish the idea that we want to keep things balanced. Y'all know I love this platform. I know y'all love the platform. There's no need to go over the top with it. Yes, are we defenders of facts? Nothing wrong with that. But again, as you evolve, you got to change with the game. Okay. So I want to say this. For those that had complaints, have issues, I can completely sympathize with how you feel. But again, every single Xbox article, every single PlayStation article, even when it is positive, it isn't always glowing. Something called a thesis paper. Now, this is why I get on Tom Warren and Paul Tassi, because as a 16, 17-year-old in high school, I had a teacher, Miss D. We're going to call her Miss D. She was a bodybuilder. Miss D was a bodybuilder. She was a world-class bodybuilder, won championships. And imagine how she became an English teacher. Miss D this is back in the days when you could rough up kids and not get in trouble. When we would do papers wrong and she knew that we could do better, she would literally put us in full Nelsons and fling us around in front of the class, and the class be laughing at us, slam us and throw us in the wastebasket. And I'm not joking. I'm not lying. I wish I had somebody here with me. That's what Miss D would actually do. She was stronger. She was stronger than most men you would know. She was a world-class bodybuilder, right? And so Miss D came to me and said, you know what? I know you can do better with these papers. She put me in a couple of full Nelsons and headlocks and all of the stuff. And she said, you got to get this thesis statement right. And what a thesis statement paper is you're trying to prove a point, but you use facts to prove those points. You have a rebuttal section where you say, I'm going to play the devil's advocate and argue against myself. But then you do another follow-up and you say, but even though I'm arguing against myself, I will come back with another paragraph to rebut the rebut, and then I'm going to close it off. And she said she would tell us, if you can't define your point by being able to do that, come up with 3 examples, come up with an opening, 3 examples, a rebuttal of your rebuttal, and a closing, then you need to rethink your opinion on something, especially if you got a lot to say about it. If you can't come up with enough content to do all that, then there might be something flawed in your thinking. Now, the people listening to the other side of this, y'all might say that's a little bit extreme. But the best journalists in the world, the people that we respect the most globally from decades and decades ago, this is the theme that they operated out of. And the reason why a lot of times I'm so vigorous is that if at 16, 17 years old, if just doing papers on photosynthesis, the hydration of leaves or the precipitation of water on leaves, if me doing a thesis, if I had to be that thorough in facts at 16 and 17 years old, just turning it into a world-class bodybuilder, why am I going to expect anything less from someone making 6 figures that has influence over tens of millions of people? Because journalists in the past, the journalists that I grew up watching, reading their articles, and I grew up in a household where, there was Saturday morning cartoons, but I grew up in a house where there was only one TV in the house. And my mother would be cooking during the duration of Saturday morning cartoons. And once them Saturday morning cartoons was off and she came to sit down, boop, it was nothing but news. It was nothing but news for the rest of the day. For some reason, my mother has an epiphany for watching the news. And because there was only one TV in the house, I did the same thing. I had no other choice. So a lot of the journalists and stuff that were famous back in the 80s, late 70s and 80s, and I would say part of the early 90s, and the 90s things started to get real political and there wasn't a balance in the media, but it wasn't as bad as you see it right now. Definitely not. But they operated with some type of integrity. And you don't see that now. It's all about clicks and sensation. And what happens is people are wasting troves and troves and troves of money based off of those clicks and sensation. And the buck got to stop somewhere, right? Yeah. But now we've made our point. So I don't want us to I don't want us to it was never about getting all worked up over every single opinion. It was just making sure that facts are there. But if you feel like, but if someone puts something on social media, I mean, it's there to be rebutted, but I don't think we got to do it in a way to where where it's demeaning. That's what I was looking for. We ain't got to demean anybody. Like there was a guy that posted something that said, you know, the final nail in Stadia's coffin is going to be when Xcloud comes to PC. And I think I've kindly rebutted. I just said, you know what? Why is it that every cloud gaming platform can coexist except for Stadia? Like the success of Xcloud does nothing to Amazon, does nothing to GFN, does nothing to Shadow, does nothing to Luna, but it does something to Stadia. Like Stadia wasn't built to exist unilaterally. Cloud gaming can work in troves and like little clusters and bundles. And the reasons that people give that just because something does well, something else got to fail, just proves the lack of due diligence. I said, but we'll see. Cheers. I said, we'll keep a placeholder on this. We'll see later. And I didn't create a whole thread about, you know what I'm saying? But I felt it was important to put that out there because if a lot of people don't understand cloud gaming, and this guy was a smart guy, but he just didn't do his due diligence. And I got something against due diligence. Maybe it was all them headlocks and those full Nelsons I was put in high school, but I got something against people not doing their due diligence. So now that there's a counterpoint, a rebuttal, like I said in that thesis paper, you got a rebuttal to a theme. Now that rebuttal's out there, I went about my business. And I did it in kind. So I think that that's just something to think about, guys. Again, the elevation in our communication, our interaction. You know, people like David Jaffe, you know, he's entitled to his opinion. I haven't heard him say anything infactual about Stadia. It's just that he has an opinion that I think is, you know, I don't agree with it, but that's okay. He's entitled to his opinion. We may not ever change his mind. It's not our purpose, not our goal. Dave's truth can be his truth. But the facts can only be the facts. So as long as he's talking about things factually, it is what it is. And we want there to be people that say positive things overall about the platform, but then give a rebuttal to the thesis. We want people to give a rebuttal to the thesis because it makes it seem less likely that they were paid. People will sit there and say, oh, well, this is like an honest critique. But at the end of it, they're positive about the experience. That's how you know people are finally doing their homework. And I'm happy. Even if someone came out with an article, you know what? Despite CyberPunk 2077, you know, being comparable to consoles, better in some ways, still don't think it's going to save Stadia. I still think Stadia is doomed to fail. And if they base their opinion on facts, I can't be mad at them. I think Paul Tassi put something out there several months ago where he had made some unflattering opinion about Stadia, but it was something Stadia had done. It was some goofy move that they had made. And I said, I can't even be mad at Paul Tassi about this one. I think he's right about this one. We want these reviews to be to seem authentic. We don't want them to be Manchurian. All right. Not babbled on long enough. Let's see what y'all got to say in the chat. Lloyd says, appreciate it, man. No, it's well deserved. You guys deserve it. Woo, Stadia Talk is in the house. What a fantastic game. Says Chase, the homie Chase. He's been great. Shout out to Lloyd, of course. Lloyd says, I'm chilling while sitting in this charity stream tonight. Oh, okay, that's what's up. Definitely check that out. Lloyd, if you're still here, drop a link to that. Jamie Reed says, I say to them, if you have Gmail, you have Stadia, because it's for everyone. Most people I know have two systems, and you have the third one for free. Absolutely. Great. I like that, Jamie. I might have to steal that. I think that's great. Lloyd says, it's all about the drama now. How outraged can I be to generate clicks? How terrible of a title, thumbnail can I make to generate drama? Yeah, and that's what, unfortunately, it is. And you can't save everybody from that, but you can try to put out the correct counter narrative where possible and where necessary. But it's just a shame, man. I mean, again, someone who grew up, who was forced to appreciate news and journalism, the great journalists of the 80s and stuff like that, man. Watching the Meet the Presses and watching the what is the guy? I forgot the guy's name. The other shows that my mother just loved watching. Just watching those shows and just seeing the fact-based, thesis statement-based research and due diligence that was done, to see that all lost because it's all about clicks. It's just a flaw in the system. Stadia now just got my email. That's what's up. Got mine this morning. Absolutely, that's what's up. Stadia Talk says, thank God it's Friday. It's been a long week. I feel you, man. Yeah, I could dig it. Walter Cronkite, yep. Who else is who's the conservative guy? I never fell into like a political, I still don't fall into a political axis. That's all different. I follow politics, but I don't resign into them. I don't go into the whole Democrat Republican thing. That's a whole other thing, and I don't even want to get into that. But who is the conservative guy with the glasses? Because there was Kitty, there was Kitty K, or I forgot her name. What show was that? The Journalists or the Reporters? I think it was the Reporters. I don't want to turn this into a politics show, but you would watch them. They were all of different mind states, sit there. They would just go back and forth and debate cordially, but you could tell they did their research. David Brinkley. Yes. They would sit back there and go over, in kind. What station was that? I think it was it CBS or ABC? It was either CBS, because Meet the Press was always NBC. No, he was someone else. But yeah, I think it was David Brinkley with the glasses. Yeah. It's great times, man. And it's sad to see. And I feel bad for this generation, because this generation, they don't get exposed to that. They don't get exposed. Face the Nation. Charles, there you go. Was it Face? I think it was Face the Nation. Was it Face the Nation? Or Face the Nation might be newer, Charles. This particular show I'm thinking about used to come in the 80s. Was it Kitty K? Is that her name? Kitty K. I think they were both on there, but before it wasn't called Face the Nation. No, Kitty, hold on. And I think she passed away. Okay, I got it wrong. I think her Kitty something. Anyway, but y'all know what I'm talking about. That's who you're thinking of. Yep. George Will. Yes. Thank you. But no, David Brinkley too. David Brinkley, George Will. Yes. Representative of the golden era of journalism, due diligence. And it wasn't about me agreeing. It wasn't always preaching to the choir. It was, you sat there and you watched those shows because you appreciated not just the elegance in the the cordialness, but you respected the fact that you knew these people knew every square inch of everything they were talking about. Nobody was talking off of emotion solely. They were talking off of research and facts that they've pilfered from somewhere. Yes, absolutely. Stadia now says, well off. Thank you for the great show, but I will keep saying it. CyberPunk looks amazing on Stadia with 4K on. Happy to see Stadia getting such a great. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. They would debate the issues. Yep. And you have shows where they debate issues right now, but it's all about buzzwords and talking points, and it's not based upon facts. It's based upon who's the most charming individual. It's solely about charm, and it's not about facts. And that's what we try to get these youngins, the younger folks, to focus on. Well, with that said, my friends, it's over an hour. I think I babbled on long enough. Oh, the unpopular thing. I will say this, y'all, and I don't want y'all to be mad about this, but it's something going on my end, and I'm great, and I'm glad. It says SLS Live. See above, MM. Yeah, I was thinking of George Will, definitely. Walter Cronkite, yep. It's great that we have Chase here because Chase can attest to this, and I know he's going to talk about this if he hasn't already. I've been out of the loop since yesterday. John McClough, yes! Yes! Thank you, Victor. The McLaughlin Group. Yes, that's what it was. See, now we're nerding out over. That's why these open mic sessions are so special. They're so special. Yes, the McLaughlin Group. Yes, that was it. I was forced to watch them every weekend. Now, did McLaughlin come on Sundays? I think for a portion, I think they were on Saturdays. They were on Saturdays. Meet the Press was Sundays. But the weekends, my mother worked multiple jobs. She worked like 2 or 3 jobs. So we had, and I was the oldest, so I held the fort down while she was away at work. But the weekends were hers. And it was fine because we were, younger. We go outside and play. And I played video, you know what I'm saying? And I played video games over my cousin's house or friend's house as I got older. And I got a job at a young age, was able to buy my own TV and take care of myself, you know what I'm saying? And things like that, get my own games and stuff like that. So it was cool. But thank you, Victor. Yes, the McLaughlin Group. Oh, man, nothing like it. Nothing like it. But the unpopular thing is, look, Chase is here. He can attest to this. It's a great thing that so many people are playing this platform. But here's why I say that I think that the platform ain't trying to get on the big stage immediately. They're trying to pace themselves. Now, I do believe that at launch, they fell short of what they were reaching for at launch, but I don't think they were looking to get like 10, 15, 20 million people at launch. I don't think they were looking at that grand, but I think, they may have fell a little short. But with that said, they're slowly but surely getting up there in volume, that the platform is growing. And to prove that I don't think that they are looking to get too many people on there, hence why some of the decisions have been made. They're looking to get some good numbers, but they ain't trying to get everybody converted, was what you've been seeing over the weekend with CyberPunk. Now, I'm saying this is my own individual experience. And the reason why I reference Chase, because he had his own individual experience. I don't want to smear this. And again, it's all about being factual. I don't want to smear this and ruin it all over the whole CyberPunk 2077 thing. Because for the most part, it's been a fantastic experience for everybody. But for me, particularly, I know, like you see me here in the actual video, I'm updating the res and stuff like that because I was getting these weird visual pops that I normally don't get in games. And I think it's just due to a lot of people. I was talking to Generation Stadia doing one of my live streams. I was talking to somebody else. I think it's due to just the stress on the infrastructure. Now, with that said, I pre-ordered the game. I got it. Right now, while there's stress on the infrastructure, I might devote a little bit more time to playing it natively on the PC. That's the unpopular thing I wanted to say. Until it balances itself out. Still got the game. I still love it. I'm still going to play it because I get to play it on the go. But you're going to see a lot of PC native gameplay from me on this. I got a 3070 card. Why not use it? That is until the graphics settle a little bit on my end. It's my connection. Just like Chase had an issue this weekend where he couldn't get in, and I think there's just a lot of activity, a lot of like ballooned activity on the servers that may be causing some of these things. Zogic says Stadia is definitely feeling the growing. Exactly. So again, I don't want, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want people to be upset. MM2K, you're a traitor. Y'all know I love this platform and I prefer to play it here. Cyberpunk 2077 to me is an immersive experience that I want to feel like bells and whistles with. I didn't need every single bell and whistle, but I wanted to feel bells and whistles with. And I got to be honest, because the weird things that are happening on my end, because I don't see them happening elsewhere, but because of the weird things that are happening on my end, and it could be my GCP ping. I got to check that out. But because I'm experiencing that stuff, I'm going to play it natively until I can figure it out. Amonor says, "Who wants to play Cyberpunk on the go? No one. You're crazy. Who don't want to play the biggest game whenever they can at the moment? Nah, bucko." He said, "If you have it, use it." Lloyd Henderson says, "I have no issues with Cyberpunk on Stadia after the first hour where everything looks blurry." I got you. Oh, okay. So you're saying, Lloyd, it was just the first hour for you. Honestly, I'm not past the first hour. Oh, here we go. I got to get past this part. I don't want to get flagged. Help. I need another video. I got you, Lloyd. So maybe that's it. Maybe I'll try that. Saji says I play it on the go. Exactly. Let me get. Hold on. We got the homie Tyler Durden. Thank you. He says MMO. Any other games giving you issues? No. Yes and no. Tyler, rather. I'm noticing some hiccups with Division as well. And that's because I think it got something to do, and I play mainly on the browser because I like to stream when I play. If I'm not streaming, I'm recording to upload later. And right now on the CCU, I came across this weird hiccup. I bought this RAID HDMI splitter, which is a great splitter off of Amazon, REI. And normally with the CCU, I can plug the CCU into the splitter, still get a 4K feed on my monitor, but it'll record in 1080p on the capture card that I have. But for some reason now, I can't use that splitter. My TV doesn't get the 4K feed anymore. And I can't play like that. I need my 4K feed. So I haven't been using the CCU as much because I can't get my 4K feed that I like. So I've been using the tab, the Chrome browser. And when I'm using the Chrome browser, I'm getting this weird pop in and pop out. So that's why I said I'm just going to play it natively. But that's a great question. Yes, and I've been noticing that a little bit too with Division as well. And I think it has something to do with the extensions that I have. I could be wrong. I did have a problem before. I had a problem where my PC for Division 2 would not lock in the 4K mode at all. And I had to call Google. And Google, they said, boop, 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 boop. They did some of their Google magic. And they said, try it now. And I tried it and it worked. I said, oh, holy cow. I'm gonna be honest. I just don't feel like I got a new SSD and M dot. I got a WD Blue. I'm gonna install that. I'm gonna try it there, see what it looks like there. So you might be seeing a little bit more native PC gameplay, but I'm gonna try what Lloyd said. It could just be this first hour. I'm still within this first hour. He says after the first hour when it went live. Oh, okay. I got you, Lloyd. I got you. Yeah, it was a little bit worse for me that first hour. And then it got better for a while, and you can see it made through the stream. And then it just got weird. And then Generation Stadia, shout out to Generation Stadia. He hopped in, and he was like, MM, be honest, man. I want your honest opinion on what you're experiencing. And I'm like, do you see it too? And me and him just rapping doing it. Check out the live stream. Me and him were rapping doing it, and he's like, man, thank you for the honesty. And I think it's just something on my end because I've talked to Storm. He's not experiencing it. And I've seen his streams. It's just me for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Oh, yeah, the nudity setting. Yeah, I got to take care of that. He says, hilarious. How can we show an unfettered amount of violence, but a single nipple will get you banned? This is America. You got it right. You got that right. Tyler says, maybe more players on your server that you connect. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it is. And I'm going to call them. I'm just being lazy. What happened to the 4K option on the performance mode? I know some people are talking about that. The 4K option for me, again, it pops in and out, but you can definitely see it there. It's just popping in and out. Lloyd says, I had issues capturing Chrome and OBS. Weird hitching, pausing, and tearing. I do 100% CCU now. Interesting. Stadia now says, see, maybe this is why I have not an issue like you, MM. I only play on the Chromecast. Yeah. And I could be it, but I'm just, for some reason, I can't capture footage on the Chromecast anymore. And it used to work. I think it happened after an update. I think what Stadia did is they capped the, I don't know. But Lloyd uses the Chromecast, don't you, Lloyd? He uses it. And watch, I'm gonna throw Lloyd under the bus. Watch, don't tell nobody. And this was the splitter that Lloyd recommended, y'all. No, it ain't Lloyd. It's something happened. They either sent out an update or something happened on my end. All right, Lloyd, appreciate it, good brother. He ran just when I was throwing him under the bus. No, it's something on my end. I don't know what it is. But if I could capture stuff on the CCU, it'd be great. Thank you, Lloyd, for dropping by. Thank you for the support, good brother. And again, watch Lloyd. He'll be on Cloudburst tomorrow, and he'll be on Nerd Nest regularly. Check out check out all his content as well. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody. But again, I've gone over, but I want to thank you all so much. Yeah, Victor says, Lloyd, I had no trouble streaming unlisted December 9th. I just dropped the link to my favorite Discord and the rest is history. Yeah, I normally don't have problems on the Chromecast, and that could be what it is. I'm going to try playing it via the Chromecast Ultra, but then I can't record it. I don't know. It's so weird. It's something weird. Rome says, my CCUs has issues all, even the first hour when it dropped. Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot, y'all. I'm going to give it a shot. It's just, unfortunately, I can't record audio because even if I do the YouTube live stream, it doesn't pick up my CCU audio. So we'll see. Hey, if I ain't got to buy this thing on PC, that'll be great. That'll be great. I'm going to figure it out. But no, thank you everybody for coming through. I had to talk to y'all a little bit, get y'all feelings on some things. Thank you for all the suggestions. And, we'll be back here. We'll be back tomorrow. Well, we're going to be back tonight with an episode of The Commission on my MM2K videos channel. So definitely check us out there. I got to just circle with everybody, make sure they still, if everything's still intact for that. And then tomorrow is SML podcast. So definitely check us out there. He said, okay, gone for now, for real. Haha. He says, is the Chromecast not working due to that? Yeah. Oh, Oh, I never even thought about. Check the firmware of your splitter. Oh, this has firmware? How in the world would I update? Okay, I'll check that out. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right, with that said, thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody coming through. Y'all have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.